I'm Laura Ackerman, Disability Services Coordinator for Ohio State University Extension and Ohio Agrability, presenting Gardening with Arthritis. It doesn't have to hurt. Nearly 1 in 4 American adults report arthritis symptoms, and in rural communities, nearly 1 in 3 adults are impacted by arthritis. The highest rates of arthritis are found among women, older adults, smokers, adults with less education, higher body mass index, or those who are less physically active. Of those affected by arthritis, nearly half report arthritis limits activity. Physical activity can decrease pain and improve physical function by up to 40%, but it may be intimidating for people with chronic pain. So what's an alternative to traditional exercise? Gardening. Gardening with Arthritis is an educational program developed by the Ohio Agrability Project to educate people about ways to continue working on their garden or farm if they have arthritis or another limitation. Some of the benefits of gardening are stress management. It gets you in touch with nature. The gardening community, there is always something to talk about in the garden besides the weather. Some multi-generational activity, and vegetable victory gardens are very popular right now. It's the summer of 2020, and COVID-19 has a lot of us at home with a lot more time, so go plant a garden. I have a picture of a very nice basket full of vegetables there: eggplants, peppers, radishes, purple and green cabbage, looks like maybe some parsley or cilantro. So for tips for gardening with arthritis, stretch and warm up before gardening. This is an exercise, and it can be pretty physically demanding. So if you go out and stretch, on our website, which I'll give you the address later, there is a resource sheet called Don't Let the Dirt Hurt, and it has stretches. I'd also like to add, I am not a medical person. I am a disability services specialist. And if your doctor tells you not to do certain physical activities, please listen to them and not to me. Your doctor knows best. Other tips for gardening with arthritis are switch tasks often, going from bending to reaching to kneeling to hand movements, pruning, weeding, things like that. If something starts to hurt or get uncomfortable, stand up, switch your position, and change what you were doing. If you need to wear a knee brace or knee pads, wear those, wear comfortable shoes, go out, take a chair into the garden, make sure you have shade, water, a sun hat, sunscreen. And if you can, garden during the cooler times of the day, which I will tell you, we're in the midst of feels like 100 days of 90-degree heat, but do your best to try to garden during the cooler times of day, maybe at the end or the beginning of the day. When you're carrying things to the garden, carry them close to your body and make frequent trips with small loads. Or better yet, if you have a garden cart or wheelbarrow or wagon, use that to haul things around. And when you can, store tools and equipment in or near the garden. This will prevent you from having to carry things back and forth. And also, if you're walking past the garden or have just a few minutes to go work, you can spend more time gardening and less time carrying your things around. The next picture, we have a picture of a man seated in a wheelchair. His wheelchair has a triangle-shaped wheel base. It looks like tank treads, and actually those are very similar to tank treads on his chair. It's called a track chair, and it can get you through any kind of environment, any kind of mud, etc. And that is Jeff. He's one of our Ohio Agrability farmers, and he's gardening with one of his daughters. And they have a very nice raised bed that is easy for Jeff to reach over from the wheelchair and access. So raised garden beds allow easy access for gardeners in wheelchairs or mobility devices, or those who have difficulty bending or stooping. When you're gardening, use the right tools. Tools with spring action design can reduce hand strain. I would suggest going to your local garden center here near Columbus. It's Oakland Nursery is the one that we go to. And if I'm going to buy a tool, I like to go in and try it out, try pruning with it, carrying it, etc., to make sure it's actually going to work for me. Ergonomic tools are nice. They fit the hand. They're comfortable to use and hold. And if you have tools that you really like, but the handles are really hard or they're difficult to grip now, maybe because of arthritis, go to the hardware store, buy probably 6 feet of pipe insulation, and you cut it off to the right length, get the largest insulation you can find, cut off a section of the insulation, put it over the handle of your tool, and secure it with duct tape. This makes it much more comfortable to hold, and you don't have to grip it as tightly, and you can still use that tool. I also have a picture here of, it's called a quilt garden. It's actually in Asheville, North Carolina, but it looks like a grid. It's squares of flowers and plants in different colors, and there is a gravel pathway and a square grid around the plants. Smooth, wide paths are easy to navigate for people with limited mobility or mobility devices. It's also easier for someone who's visually impaired if there's not a lot of twists and turns in it. They can navigate that way. And if someone had dementia or cognitive issues, it'd be good to have something like this also. And if you're setting up paths in your garden, try to avoid having them run into a dead end where someone would have to turn around and make their way back out. If you can make it a continuous path, that's the best way to do that, the most user-friendly. So the Ohio Agrability Program is a partnership between the Ohio State University College of Food, Agricultural, and Environmental Sciences and Easter Seals Greater Cincinnati. Our mission is to promote success in agriculture for Ohio's farmers and farm families who are coping with disability or long-term health condition. If you're interested in learning more about gardening with arthritis, contact Ohio Agrability to schedule a webinar on gardening with arthritis. We also have a lot of handouts and webinars available on our website. There's also videos, videos of webinars and some instructional videos. ohioagrability.osu.edu/resources. That's Ohio, agrability.osu.edu/resources. Our phone number is 614-292-0622. And our website, or I'm sorry, our email is agrability, agrability @osu.edu. Thank you.